2, 3.
Welcome to the Smartest Amazon Seller Podcast. Today's your host, Scott Needham. There's no one else. You have just me and my thoughts. Hopefully, I can create a solid stream of consciousness and that I keep you entertained, but also informed. The goal of this podcast is to turn you into the smartest Amazon seller. I thought I could have been that person, but I kind of gave up a while ago. I had plenty of struggles on all my different selling businesses. I hit huge numbers, but boy, sometimes it's a tough business, and I'm just being honest. I do implement a lot of the strategies to talk about with guests, and mixed results. Some of them really good things, and some of them I'm like it just didn't work for me. I've been doing this podcast for 3 years now. Kind of crazy. In some ways, this podcast has done way more than I could have hoped for, or did exactly exactly what I was hoping, is connecting with other people, challenging myself, really coming out with new ideas. I've brought on a lot of tools and guests that I am certain it's the first time you've ever heard of it. I travel to conferences and I dive into what I think is interesting. I really do try hard to not hit the same subject over again, because that bores me to tears. I'm turning away more people than ever. We have thousands of listeners, and I get thank you to everyone that's reached out to me and asked questions or comments or whatever. And so, I'm 3 years in, and I'm not stopping. I've already got a great content schedule ahead of me, 6-7 weeks out. So much so that, I'm going to keep doing some of these individual episodes on the side, because I got ideas that I want to get out, or, some people, there's some feedback. So, again, thank you everyone for listening. This is just kind of maybe a 3-year recap. I do have some really interesting ideas, that, I'm able to talk about here that I'm not when I have a guest. So, but if you ever have any feedback, reach out to me at scott@smartscout.com. I love to hear your advice. Tell me the episodes that you didn't like versus the ones that you did, so I can do better. And even if you have any questions that you want me to address, I think there's, Okay. Well, if you've been hiding under a rock, you won't know that on top of the 2 selling businesses that I have a software business called Smart Scout. And one thing that I've started just doing this year, 2022, is started writing a lot more about my thoughts. It's kind of turn into a newsletter. And now I'm about 1 month of starting to do this newsletter every single week. I'm getting better. I'll be honest, the best newsletters I've written were in the last month. And it's reactions to the marketplace. The one that I just wrote this morning, you probably already read it if you're subscribed to the newsletter. It's my reaction to Amazon's stock tumbling, and my reaction to some of the layoffs that have happened in the space. So basically, I say, don't worry. This is nothing. Amazon in Q1 of 2022 is still up 5%. So if you were bullish on Amazon in 2020, if you were bullish in 2021, well, it's still bigger. In 2022, it's still bigger, considering the fact that people are starting to travel and lockdowns are in place. Amazon is still bigger. So I won't even entertain the idea that it's not a good opportunity. We can talk about inflation and all the other and advertising and all the other costs, but the revenue is still there. And so the people that are building good product and brand businesses and reselling businesses, they're still seeing huge revenue. So if your revenue is going down, then I do think you have to look at how you're getting outflanked. Do you need to change your business model or make some adjustments? I am adjusting my business model. I didn't know I was going to say this on the podcast, but I'm scaling down my reselling business. We hit 65 million in 2018, and we kind of hovered around there and a little bit smaller as we focused on getting more profitable. Well, in 2021, I tried to sell BuyBoxer. We were a little bit north of $1 million in net profit, but the main reason that we could not sell it was for how complicated the business was, like the inventory position and all of that. And on top of that, the owners were not interested in sticking around. That was the nail in the coffin. So we were talking to aggregators, agencies, private equity, everyone, did the rounds, spent a lot of time and money, and didn't succeed. And if anything, that time and money and effort caused BuyBoxer to start to perform a little bit worse. The ownership, me and my brother, we were not creating it into be a better business. And so early this year, we decided to scale it down and close one of our 2 warehouses. So we'll keep it around. We have some ideas for it, but it just won't be the big business that it is, that it has been. For a while, we were a top 10 Amazon seller, according to seller feedback. So, yeah. Now, I want to hit 2 subjects that are kind of some new Amazon changes. So the Small and Light program is a unique program for products that are usually under a pound and that are smaller, hence the name Small and Light. They're usually utilizing USPS, which is much less expensive for anyone to ship, mail. And instead of the 2-day promise, they have like a 4 or a 5-day delivery promise. That's what allows Amazon to do this. In 2017, we went all in on Small and Light, and it had a lot of good things going for it. You can had the fees were the lowest it's ever been, and you can sell products up to $15. You can beat regular FBA offers. You were winning the buy box. It was a very lucrative program if you were big into reselling, and but then it changed. Amazon reduced the price, the maximum price, to $7. That right there kind of killed it for us. All of a sudden, it was like Small and Light and inexpensive. So we got less interested in it. A lot of our mix of products were around the $7 to $15 range. And so, we got out, and it just kind of kept getting worse and worse. The FBA fees on it went up a little bit. They removed the pick and pack fee and just had a flat fee. The pick and pack fee combination allowed you. So each additional, a multi-order sale, you got an extra $1. So all those things were removed. And so we were out. But there's another change. Amazon just increased it to a $10 maximum. And now I'm starting to, and with the other FBA fees getting bigger, I'm starting to reconsider it as a viable option for a good business. I think you should consider it. And especially if you have products that are under 10 pounds and that are light. If they fit the profile, you can throw some units into it and it'll increase your margins, and hopefully it doesn't hurt your sell-through. You can actually have an active offer in both Small and Light and FBA, and even consider like toying around with the prices or whatever. So, and for some people, this is a low risk thing. And if you are planning on selling your business, as everyone wants to talk about, if you implement something, if you move your product to Small and Light and like you can get increased margins through it, this could be an add back to your P&L. All of a sudden, you could be like, well, we should have been using this for the last 2 years, and all of a sudden your SDE goes up. So Small and Light, check it out. Small and Light actually has a place in my heart because we were doing about 10,000 units a day in Small and Light. And so I wanted to find more and more opportunities. What I did is I started downloading Amazon data, and then I started organizing the Amazon data to find Small and Light opportunities. That's all I was doing, was looking at top brands. So I organized it, and that code is the guts of Smart Scout. That is what we did, is we organized all of the data and all categories to find very specific products. So I'll never forget that. That kind of changed my career. Then the next thing that I want to, this doesn't affect Amazon sellers unless you have a D2C component, then it can affect you quite a bit, is they released this program called Buy with Prime. This is essentially a checkout on say a Shopify website or whatever, and is, where like you could essentially have the Prime promise on a site that's not Amazon. I love it. This is a total home run from Amazon. You get to keep the customer data, so they're not trying to do this. You get to use the same logistics that you trust and that that I also think is competitive in price in general. And you get all of that. You get to use a checkout that customers are familiar with. Likely they have their credit card information, so it could be a conversion rate boost. So it's got a few things going for it that I think really helps. They're essentially launching their 3PL, their payments as a service, and kind of bundling it around the Prime promise. So good stuff there. Okay. Wait to see exactly how the results are, but we'll roll with it. So a few other things that are just new with me. I told you I'm going to do some solo podcasts. I've been listening to a new podcast that's not related to Amazon, but it's related to entrepreneurship. I could totally recommend it. It's called My First Million. One of my favorite things about it is how much they enjoy their podcast. It's just very easy to listen, and they don't bring any politics. And that's why I'm like, okay, finally a business podcast that really doesn't wrap itself in politics, which seems to be where I used to be, and I'm kind of over that. So that's kind of why, I'm doing a little bit more on the solo pods, because I think you'll find it a little bit more enjoyable. I'll get to the point faster and I move on. And I think I could do shorter episodes. So we're 13 minutes in. Hopefully I can get done in the next 3 or 4 minutes. Okay. So here's some other new things that you should be aware of. If you're scaling your reselling business, I have to mention that Smart Scout, we built a UPC scanner. That was the single tool that helped us scale fast, taking huge catalogs and finding the profitable opportunities. So consider checking that out. You actually can use this UPC scanner as an ASIN scanner if you're analyzing a bunch of ASINs and you want to see the profitability, you want to see FBA fees fast. So this has a private label application as well. Then I probably have also told you guys about Scope, which is our historic analytics. It's we just built something brand new on top of this data. We're calling it the Opportunity Matrix. What this tool does that's really cool is it takes a collection of products, and you can kind of like analyze them on a 2D matrix to see, say we're looking at pickleball paddles. Show me a graph where like one axis is review ratings. So like, is this a 4.5 out of 5 stars, 4.7, 4.3? The other axis is selling price. And then the size of the dot on this plot, the bigger the dot, the more sales it's doing. So you can take a collection of products and start to graph it. And like what we like to show is that if there's white space, that's an opportunity. So you can visually tell how a subcategory is doing. Where's the top revenue? Where are they on the price position and the quality? This was an idea that someone showed me at Prosper, and I built it within a week. I was like, yes, this is exactly the type of tool that I want to be investing in. And just to tease you guys, we are building some more keywording tools into Smart Scout. They're going to look different than you've ever seen. They will put us a little bit more competitive with, say, the Helium 10s and other tools out there. So watch out, world. Really, it's my experience with this podcast. And as a seller, that is why I know when we deliver something that it is going to be a hit. It's funny how many tools are built by people that are just trying to build tools. But well, it turns out if you have been selling for a decade and you've been doing a podcast for 3 years, you have a competitive edge. I do want to get a few, make this a little bit more interactive. If you have any questions that you want to submit, scott@smartscout.com. Look forward to answering some of them on the podcast. If you want to be a deer, then review the episode. Like they say that you either on iTunes and now on Spotify. This is a great way for me to grow. It's if you have any gratitude towards what I've done for this last 3 years, go in there. I jokingly, if you listen to my first episodes, I kept saying, I was like, I'm getting too many 5-star reviews. Give me some 2-star ones. I had 0 2-star ones. People either wanted to do a 1-star or a 5-star. And I felt like it was lonely at the 2-star. So if you want to give me a 5-star review, I'll take it. And so we can take this to the moon. It allowed me to spend more time and justify more time because I'm running 3 other businesses at the same time. So that's it. Thanks, everyone. I hope to do a few more of these, side episodes on a Thursday. And I want it. If you see the Thursday episode, you're like, oh, this is a must listen. Okay. All right. Take care and see you next one.
1, 2, 3.